I'm thankful that you came up with the initiative to do this because I didn't actually.
You had no idea, right?
I had no idea that you wanted to do it.
Yeah. I mean, we did it once. I was expecting a part 2.
Before you left.
Yeah, at least.
And you kind of pushed it more than I did, and I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely.
I really do. You look really great.
Thank you.
What do you think of the setup I have here?
It is lovely.
Okay.
It looks like a date.
It does, right?
Yes.
Okay. You see the candle over there?
There's a candle.
There's a candle because
and you don't put it here?
No, because then that's gay. That's gay. I have the candle over there so that the room smells nice, but I'm not gonna have it in the middle because then it looks gay.
Okay, I understand.
So clearly this is a different scenario from last time. Last time it was in the office. I'm not gonna say where the office is, but it was in the office. And I was a little skeptical about how it was gonna look here, but I think this looks nice.
It looks great. I love that you use your actual, quote unquote, artistic scenario that you have in your room as a positive plus to your podcast.
I appreciate that.
Because he did not do this because of the podcast. He's had it for a while.
Yeah.
Just to have it on his room. Like you have this just for fun. You broke a glass.
I remember.
A mirror.
I remember the exact story from when I broke that mirror. It's so dumb. But most of these writings, they happened on my wall while I was like in my brother calls it a manic state, but
right.
There's no diagnosis. It's just me listening to music or extremely emotional, and then I just begin to write on the walls.
Yeah.
And
I get freaked out if somebody does that.
Have you seen the movie? There's like a movie of where Beethoven is like writing on the walls, cause he's like, it's so funny. He's like
the musician.
Yes, the Beethoven. He's like he's what?
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, there's a movie. I think I watched it in class once, and there's a scene where Beethoven has a moment of inspiration, and he's deaf, so he's like, and then like the people that he was living with, because artists back then, they survive off of charity basically. People would give them off of sponsors.
Yeah, sponsors.
And so like people, yeah. So a sponsor allowed them to live in the house, but he was terrorizing the house. He was destroying the walls and everything. One day he was so inspired, and he didn't have a piece of paper, that like his hair was like all over the place. He goes, and so every time I write on the wall, I think of myself like that.
You can't do that!
Yeah, you think you're a genius like Beethoven?
I think I have a writing somewhere there where I'm like, yeah. I read about Beethoven over there.
No way.
It's
where it says part 1?
It's in you see where the cross is?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna show a picture on the video.
Beethoven wrote on walls, I write on hearts.
Yeah. It's very cheesy. Most of the stuff is very cheesy, but
nice poetry, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's another argument that we had last night about what was it? Whether or not my poetry is poetry.
I mean, yeah, you have a very modern conception of art, which I respect. I respect all conceptions of art. It doesn't mean I appreciate them.
That's good. You appreciate what?
I respect all ideas about art, including your modern idea that art is subjective. And that whatever you write...
No, the art is subjective?
Yeah, that's what you said.
I consider art subjective.
Exactly. So
I don't consider it objective.
Exactly. So, like, I respect... I've seen a lot of people that do great stuff with their ideals. Like, I admire a lot of the modern artists that came about. Mm-hmm. Especially when I say that, I mean, like, in paintings. The modern artists, like Pablo Picasso. Mm-hmm. The Spanish one, like it looks. I think it looks ugly, but it's trying to convey a message, and that's. But
that's the thing. It's like you can't really say that it's ugly. I mean, subjectively speaking, you can say it's ugly.
Yeah.
But by your standards, you think art is objective, so you can't believe that it's objectively ugly.
Right.
We had this conversation before on the first podcast about beauty and standards and about objectivity and subjectivity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to parallel, I don't want to bring the same subject back because we already touched on it. But we talked about how when God experiences, quote unquote, our art, whether he finds it, whether he approves of it, makes it objective because he's God. But...
Can we say that again?
Okay, let me try to phrase it correctly. I brought up the story of Abel and Cain and how his sacrifice was approved by God.
Mm-hmm.
And in a sense, I'm making the sacrifice, the effort, the way that he made the sacrifice, although we don't know exactly how he did it because we don't have all the details, that
Right.
God found it beautiful.
Correct.
That God found it valid. Therefore, there's a lot of people in this world that argue that what they give in life should be sufficient. Maybe like what Cain was saying, where he thought that his sacrifice should have been sufficient because it's what he was willing to give up to God.
But it was not accepted.
But it was not accepted because God knew in his infinite wisdom that he had more to possibly give. And so what I'm trying to highlight here is...
More or something different?
I think it was something more. Because
Well, that's where you're reading into the text right there.
Might be. But I think...
Because it's like, oh, you can't be Muslim and pray to the same God as me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Cain mentality, you know? You know? We're praying to the same God. My sacrifice as a Muslim should be sufficient as that you're a Christian. But we know that God has a right.
Okay.
God chooses.
Right.
Period.
Okay, what was the error with the sacrifice? Because I don't think we have to bring in the Bible. I think we remember. It's not that... It's a complex story, but it's not... The details aren't that complex. What they give us is that Cain restrains some of his sacrifice, right? Like, supposedly he only gives, like, fruits and vegetation, and then Abel gives, like, livestock, from what I remember.
You have to read the text. I don't want to misquote it.
Yeah. Are you willing for me to bring it up?
If you want to, or we could go into the questions.
Right. Okay.
It is up to you. It's your podcast.
You're right.
What is this podcast name, by the way?
It's fine. I just kind of just want to roll into it.
United Wisdom?
Yes, United Wisdom. It's gonna be in the intro.
Is it like the United States?
No, you know.
Do you want it to be a country?
You're doing the whole 4D going through to touching the audience, talking to the audience.
No, I'm talking to you. Well,
I know.
You know, I'm like that when I'm like off camera.
Right.
I make like cheesy jokes and they're not funny.
They're not funny, but
and
it's funny that you say it.
It's funny that I say it seriously.
Right. I found that Celsius is the only thing that wakes me up.
Really?
Yes. Other energy drinks don't really do much.
I thought it was just sparkling water.
No, I found out through a coworker that Celsius actually has more caffeine than Red Bull and Monster. Suppose he has like 200 something milligrams.
But it should be way healthier than, right?
I don't know. That's what we say about all the food nowadays. It should be healthy. Okay.
Because Red Bull kills you.
I mean, all caffeine kills you at some point, right? I mean, this kills you. I'm trying to get off of it, trying to get into cigars.
No, you're
instead.
not trying at all.
No, I am.
What about those cigars?
Cigars are much healthier than vapes.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We don't have studies on vapes.
No, we know what's in a vape compared to a cigar. Cigars.
Yeah, but you don't know the long-term effects. Like
no, but
50 year.
No, but people have used cigars for a long time, and they're a lot less harmful than cigarettes. And vapes.
Exactly.
And vapes are argued to be even more harmful than cigarettes at this point.
Exactly, I'll give you the benefit.
So if cigars, on par with cigarettes, are healthier, then, cigars aren't that bad, and you're not actually inhaling. It's the membranes in the mouth that soak up the chemicals that are actually natural chemicals by the tobacco leaf. It's
You know
not
what
like,
this reminds me? Have you seen the Joe Rogan Joey Diaz podcast?
Yes.
And he starts saying the first man that tried marijuana did not smoke it. He inhaled it.
Right. Because they were probably... Yeah, I remember that.
It's so funny, bro. And he starts like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole story. Like, don't get too interested in that. Why are you looking at me like that?
No, because I remember that exactly, actually.
It's
I remember
so funny,
that.
bro.
Yeah. Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan are so funny.
Am I Joey Diaz or you're Joe Rogan, right?
Who's more brown? Joey
You-
Diaz
you-
or Joe Rogan? I'm pretty sure Joey Diaz.
Joey
is more-
Diaz,
more
he's
brown.
Cuban.
So, but
Joe Rogan is like
Joe
white,
Rogan's like Italian.
like Italian,
I'm pretty sure he has Italian descendant.
Italian Irish probably.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what he said, Irish. Okay, so let's get into the topics because let's not stretch it too long.
Yeah.
Because you have to go get your haircut and look at like the Nazi haircuts, the German soldier haircuts.
I don't think you can. Can you say Nazi on YouTube?
I don't know.
Well,
Can
I mean,
you?
do you want to be demonetized or not? Or you don't care about the money?
Is it? I can't make any money. I haven't made any money yet.
Okay, so it's fine. We can say Nazi.
I mean, are there videos on YouTube about Nazis where they say the word Nazis? There's not like a professor that teaches about Nazi history and says Nazi.
I'm pretty sure because there's some there.
I just said Nazi a lot. Like the whole video's done.
No, I've heard about YouTube channels that have problems with it. You know, with the word Nazi, so they have to like say, the guy with a mustache.
The guy with a mustache. Then I have to do a lot of editing now.
No, let's just say Nazi.
Well, let's just say
Or
nacho.
Hitler.
Let's give it a code word like nachos. you know what my brother does when I walk into the room and he's on the phone with his girlfriend.
What?
He has a code word. So every time I walk in, he's like flour. It's so weird.
It's so funny,
It's so
bro.
weird. Flour. Whatever. Anyways, let's get into the first topic, which is extremely important actually. You have been accepted by Johns Hopkins.
Johns Hopkins.
Johns Hopkins or John Hopkins?
Juanes. Many
Johns?
Johns.
Okay. Johns Hopkins. You've been accepted
University.
to Johns Hopkins University
Correct.
with a full tuition
Correct.
and housing.
That is correct, yes.
You hit the lottery.
I have. I am very grateful for that institution, very generous institution. I applied to many schools. I got rejected by most of them. My goal was to go to the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta. I still had to pay between $15K and $20K. I haven't even gotten my financial aid
What,
yet.
for Georgia Tech?
For Georgia Tech, yes. A year.
15 to 20K per year?
Yearly. Which I was down to do it. You know, I had the money saved up. I couldn't care less. I'll do it.
Right.
I was set. Because that was the school I wanted to go since high school. I don't have dream school. I don't call it dream school. Because I do dream about it, but I'm open to other, you know, I'm very disloyal in that sense.
Right.
So.
Right, and you shouldn't be committed to any school. Like that
Yeah,
in the
because
beginning.
I don't bow down to any institution.
Yeah.
So.
Especially when they're becoming so liberal now.
Exactly. So, yes. A week ago, my life went like a 180-degree turn, and I changed my mind. I following the money. Great private school. I'm gonna be private boy. Private school boy.
Private school boy.
Private school boy.
In Maryland.
In
Do
Maryland.
they have an accent in Maryland?
Probably they do.
Probably do. It'll be funny if you adopt the accent. You come back to Miami, and you just hit me with the "Hey, Osric."
Hey,
I don't know what language, what accent they probably have, but
Let me put my thing on vibration or silence.
vibration.
The vibes.
No. Just okay. I'm not gonna make any stupid jokes because then,
Yes.
I'm gonna edit them out anyway.
That is my job. I make the
You make the stupid jokes,
Yes.
and I don't edit them out. Like you burping in the first podcast. So
You didn't edit
I
that.
I didn't edit them out. They were great. Only for the clips I edited them out.
Okay.
Only for the clips. Okay. So, your dream school would have been MIT? I know you don't have a dream school, but that would have been your dream school.
I mean, I applied because, I was aiming higher in terms of academic things. And also my mom was like, yeah, it's like her fantasy or whatever. So I
That you go to MIT?
Yeah. I probably might. I'll apply for a third time when I do my master's. I'll do it.
You're going to go as far as your master's? I thought we have a conversation where...
They're paying for my bachelor's, so I might as well take advantage of it, right?
What's the limit on the full tuition?
What do you mean, what's the limit?
Is it only for your bachelor's, or does it go beyond bachelor's?
I don't know yet.
Or is it just as long as you're in the school?
What I know as of now, for sure, it's my junior year of college. They given me that financial...
It's only 1 year guarantee.
Guaranteed.
Right.
However, though, it says on the school, I'm going to have a meeting with a financial advisor. They talk about that they usually, if you get the first full ride financial statement,
Mm-hmm.
if your family situation does not dramatically change, then you're going to have the same thing next year.
Yeah, your family situation is not going to change at all.
So...
Really?
And if you're a great student and you're very involved, probably they're gonna
When they put more money
pay
in?
you for your master's too.
Mm-hmm. So again, I know. You're not the type to dream big, but you still shoot for it just in case. What would it have meant if you made it to MIT?
What do you mean? What would have meant?
What would it have meant for you if you were accepted into MIT?
I would have gone, because they do meet 100% meet. They're just like Johns Hopkins.
Oh, they're just like Johns Hopkins.
Yeah,
they would give you the full everything, just like they would.
The reason why I got it is because of my financial need, my FAFSA information.
Mm-hmm.
They meet 100% of the proved need-based grants that they have.
Mm.
I don't know if it makes sense in English what I just said, but
So basically they would have just met the same.
yeah, same thing as Johns Hopkins. MIT
Mhm.
does the same thing.
Interesting.
So if you get accepted to their school, they want you in, they're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, that answers my question then, because I was gonna ask, what if they would have offered a lot less money? Would you still have gone to MIT instead of Johns Hopkins?
Yeah, because it doesn't happen every day.
Yeah.
That's like less than 1% transfer acceptance. Yeah, it's very hard.
What's the... With Johns Hopkins being a predominantly medical school, does that make you weary in any way?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
Because your major is engineering, civil engineering,
Systems engineering.
systems engineering.
As of now,
right.
which I could change in anything. I don't.
That was another thing I was gonna ask you, because I know we've spoken about it, but why is it that you strive for that career? And first explain what exactly that career is. What do you think it is? What do you see yourself doing?
Okay, I started as industrial engineering, which
Right.
is the mix of engineering and, let's say, economics,
Mm-hmm.
which it's more like a big picture engineering rather than specifics. They
Right.
are, as a matter of definition, the career focuses on optimizing processes.
Mm-hmm.
You see a system in a company and you try to make it as efficient as possible. Right, that's the
Okay.
whole point. So
you're improving systems.
you're improving systems, and that involves a lot of financial things. Like it takes a lot of economic classes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of experimentation. There's a lot of risk involved.
So it's
resources.
basically industrial engineering was a economics major
Right.
with knowledge of engineering.
Interesting.
What
Okay.
systems engineering is, it's the same exact thing, but less focused on manufacturing, because industrial was focused on the manufacturing process.
So what does that mean when it's less focused on manufacturing?
It's more broad.
More
You can
broad.
apply it not only to manufacturing, you can apply it to any other industry.
When you say manufacturing, you mean large body factories, right? Like creating.
Not only factories is just one part of manufacturing.
Right.
There's also transportation. There's also supply. The whole supply chain starts from the producer to the Walmart.
All right. So forget everything I said. If you had the choice to choose what you would want to do in that broad career, what would you want to do?
Oh,
In that
energy.
broad field, energy.
Energy, yes.
Energy. You've spoken to me about nuclear energy before.
Oh yes, I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. I'm very grateful. I also got a research internship opportunity at Oak Ridge National Laboratory this summer.
Oak Ridge
National
Laboratory.
Laboratory.
And what are you going to be doing there?
Oh,
and that's in Tennessee, right?
That's in Tennessee. So it's called Raman Spectroscopy.
Raymond, that's the company?
No, I'm gonna do research with specific equipment, and that's equipment it's called.
That's what the equipment is called. What does the equipment do?
It used to determine vibrational modes of molecules. So basically, what they do with this, I'm pretty sure it's I think it's an equipment to identify materials.
Equipment? So like underground? Like for mining?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
You could use it. I think you could use it for many things. You know, you have like because as far as I know, materials used in the industry are usually a mix of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, man, it's not gold. The gold that you have in your gold chain is not really pure gold.
Yeah, it's... Mm-hmm.
Same thing in every like other materials that you have in your products. They're a mix of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this thing, I'm pretty sure that you can measure the free. Like, I'm pretty sure each material gives off a certain frequency.
That's based on its density, right?
No, that's based on the molecules it has.
Oh.
The type of molecule.
Okay.
So you can identify what type of material it is without dissecting it, you know. It's like an X-ray for materials. It's like what is in your body.
Are you gonna find that exciting?
Yeah, it's science.
Yeah. Okay.
I find it cool.
So your dream job would be with nuclear energy, dealing with nuclear energy.
I'm open.
That would be your, but I wanna.
If they make me work in a hospital as an engineer, that's
Right. I understand.
That's even better.
I know. There's a lot of different ways that it could go that you'd still feel satisfied. But what would be your dream? What would you want to do if you had a choice and you could choose it right now? What would it be?
Probably work on. As of now, 2024, or in 10 years, because I don't see long term. I see now. As of now, I'll give you the answer. As of now, I want to do research on small modular reactors, which are a type of nuclear reactors that are modular, which means they can be manufactured before they're set up in place.
Okay.
So they're made up in a factory. They're brought into place, and they're built up. They're crafted on site rather than.
So what do they do?
Oh, they're smaller. They're cheaper to make.
And they create energy through
Nuclear fission.
Nuclear fusion. And they're smaller. How much smaller?
The size of a. Well, it depends. Well, a nuclear plant it's like the size of a high school or bigger. This one is like the size of your house.
And how large of a nuclear plant like that can sustain a city? Like how large could a city be that it could sustain?
How large? I mean, it depends on the reactor. It depends on how many people are in the city. Like Miami, like you have a nuclear plant here. It's called Turkey Point.
I love how you always say you have. Why don't you ever say we have? Do you not like identify yourself with Miami people yet?
I never identify with Miami. I'm not Miami.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, I'm not sad that I'm leaving. So
right.
It just shows that I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have as Miami's residents, the great Turkey Point nuclear plant, which is both a nuclear and a natural gas plant. So he does both.
I heard from Jordan Peterson the last long discussion that he that Matt Fradd had, because it was with Jordan Peterson. And Jordan Peterson mentioned that we could have had nuclear energy already sustaining a large part of the world. And that it's the environmentalists that push it off, even though it's more beneficial for the environment. Do you feel like your career would help promote having nuclear energy as a more major use source for energy in the world?
That's what we're all striving for.
Right. Is that what you are going to be striving for in your career?
I want to do it. Okay, so I want to be comfortable enough for that to be my priority, because you have to fight for yourself first.
Right.
And then you get comfortable in order to fight for others.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned from and the environmentalists make valid reasons to push back. For instance, it's not obvious what you do with the nuclear waste that these energy factories, let's say, make. Like the waste, there's some waste that you could reuse, but you can only reuse it so many times.
To me, I feel like the biggest risk is the waste seeping into the environment, like it has into the water, into the vegetation around the area.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of far out from vegetation, I have seen that. I think it was in high school where I read a news article where there was a nuclear power plant that was leaking radiation into the waters that was nearby.
Right.
I think that's one of the huge risks, and the other huge risk is that it's very sensitive, in the sense that if it blows up, it could blow up a large part of the area around it.
I mean, that second part doesn't really. It's not as bad of a risk as it was before, because the new nuclear plants are way safe. They have their safety systems are better now, in the sense that a lot of them, they used to have one in Japan called let me look it up. It was the Fukushima disaster. So that was interesting. They had a tsunami. No, they had an earthquake. Right. Which caused a tsunami. Okay, they had an earthquake, which caused the power plant to go without, to go out of electricity.
But it probably had generators, right?
It had generators,
right?
External generators.
And those external generators are more susceptible to the natural disaster that occurred, right?
And the tsunami came, and it blew off the generators, and the core overheated, and it melted.
Was anyone in danger?
I think nobody died. By this nuclear disaster, by the tsunami, a lot of people.
Oh, right. But can we really trust people with such a strong power? Because I think nuclear
I think that people don't want to die, so.
No, right, but I understand that. But it's like I always think to myself, what if someone's having a really, really bad day, like a really shitty day, and they make one small, huge mistake? I feel like that's extremely likely. Or some person that's extremely suicidal and just doesn't care about the world anymore and wants to be a villain.
Right.
And just, risks everyone's life by being careless, working in a nuclear power plant. Don't you feel like that's highly likely, or do you think that there's a lot of boundaries put in place so that those things don't happen?
Currently in the United States, or if I'm not mistaken, all nuclear power plants are not necessarily, I think they're federally, no, they're not federally owned. Never mind, FPL has Turkey Point. There's a lot of federal policies against, I will say.
Right, but I don't see how that answers the question. You're saying that you trust the federal policies to be administered and followed through.
Yes, because to be a federal employee, it's a lot of things that you have to do.
Right.
And I'm trying to think. Even for small companies, they do background checks, psychological exams.
Right.
Not even what am I talking? Small companies, like companies that are not as risky as, let's say, you know what I mean, right? Like electricity or stuff. Like I need to do more research about it actually. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If private companies are pushing for more requirements for employees, why wouldn't the government subsidize things such as energy companies, which are mostly publicly funded?
Right.
Why wouldn't they have those requirements for employees?
Right. Right. So
Usually private, it's more stringent, they do, but like I'm pretty sure the public sector is also as stringent, especially when it's as delicate of a matter as nuclear power.
Yeah, I guess what you're mainly just telling me is that you trust the measures that they take. That's what you're saying.
I mostly trust the engineering behind it because
right, but at the end of the day, it's people that are doing it. You're saying that you trust the people to follow through with all of these rules.
Yes, and I mostly trust the engineering behind it because that we have come to the point that things like Chernobyl are impossible with the new power plants.
How so?
In the sense that
is there a lot of safeguards in the machines now in the engineering that can
the way the cores are built are different. You know what I mean? Like it's the cores are now submerged in water, so that it stabilizes the temperature of the core, of the nuclear core if something goes wrong.
So there's a lot of safeguards put in place through the engineering, plus the policies.
Yes.
And you feel like with all of that combined, there's like no way that the things that I'm imagining can happen. Like the probability is so low that you might as well not even worry about it.
It's very safe. You have a power plant by Homestead.
Right.
I don't see you worrying about that.
Well, that's because I don't think about it that much. But if I think about nuclear energy, I tend to get worried.
That's fine. You should worry about it because it's valid, I think. If you lax the regulations a lot, you could have people stealing nuclear material and sell it to I don't know.
Right.
The Iranians or something.
Right.
The president of Iran died yesterday.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, his helicopter crashed, like
What's
the basketball player.
I'm not really that. I consider you to be more intelligent than I am, so I consider you to be the
Don't
smart
think
one.
that. That's dumb. That's retarded.
I see you as the smart one in this friendship. Even though I've come a long way, I feel like it's because of your support. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna sound dumb saying this because I don't know. But what's the U.S.'s relationship with Iran? Because I don't know how to feel about the president of Iran perishing.
It was an accident, so you don't have to worry about it.
Right, but
accordingly, but like Iran it's an enemy of America. Since the 70s, usually they had like a revolution in the 70s. They're not Sunni Muslim, they're Shiite Muslim.
Right.
So they're like the minority Muslim.
They're like the more aggressive ones.
The more aggressive ones, and
yeah, because there's two sects of Islam, and there's
I think there's more, but
there's two major sects.
There's two major sects,
like
Sunni and Shiite. And Iran is a Shiite state.
Shite.
Shite. It's a Shite state.
It's a Shite state.
And they have a pope, like a religious leader called the Ayatollah. And yeah.
Okay, so let's move on with the next topic, which is, so you're going to Maryland, most likely. To
Baltimore.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes.
Right. And you kind of know what to expect because you've been to Washington and they're very close to each other.
Yeah, I've been to D.C. twice.
Right.
I've been during the winter and during the summer.
How about you name everywhere you went? In the past, 2 years?
Oh, during my time at MDC?
Yes, during your time at MDC. Because you come from MDC Honors. Okay, first, let's talk about MDC Honors, actually. You just recently graduated from MDC honors, and because of your time at MDC honors, you have been given the privilege to transfer with a more increased probability of acceptance to Johns Hopkins, and you've been accepted to Johns Hopkins. What was your time in MDC like?
It was great. I don't regret it at all. Miami-Dade College is usually where people go to where they don't get to FIU, right? Will you agree with
Is that song that you sang?
Yes.
Like
Is that accurate? Yes or no?
what? The song? Oh, what you just said.
People
People
apply
go
to
to
FIU. They don't get in, or
But
something
who doesn't
happens.
get into FIU?
Exactly, bro. Then why would you go to MDC?
Because it's probably like a couple grand cheaper.
Exactly. So people that are in financial distress or in need and they want to pursue further their education, they go to MDC.
Right. Before I found out that you were in MDC honors, I had no idea that MDC honors was even a thing.
Right.
If I had known, I probably I probably still wouldn't even have
No, you wouldn't.
tried to take the opportunity. Now,
Yeah, because you wouldn't have the requirements.
not only that, but it's like I always had this philosophy when it comes to accelerated education, which is what MDC honors is. It's a more fast paced. It's a little bit more intense than your regular MDC classes, and it comes with more perks as well, because of course the efforts reap the rewards. My philosophy with school was always that why would I take an honors or a what are they called? Those other classes, AP classes. Why would I take any honors or AP classes
In the high school context.
in
Right?
the high school context, or even now in the college context, because there's honors classes because you're in the honors program?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I even do that when if I can get a 4.0 in a regular class, it's like if I did perfect, and it still looks good on the on a sheet. Now honors probably looks better, but if you can get a 4.0, which is like let's say you can get a perfect score, if you can be optimal in regular classes, and it looks like you did like you're a stellar student, why would you try to go beyond and stress yourself out more with honors and AP? That's how I thought to myself.
Right.
What's your take on it?
My experience was that all the titles of honors and AP is just inflated. Maybe it was just that I had a good study habit already, which if you put me all the work, I will do it anyways.
Would you consider your workload and necessity to study intense in the honors program?
It was intense.
Do you think
because it was intense only because we were not only pushed only to study and do good in classes, but we were also pushed to showcase leadership on campus. We're pushed to be involved in clubs. We're pushed to within the honors college. I was an ambassador of the honors college. We actually went on to high schools to do exactly that you're saying.
right?
Push recruitment and so that people know more about the honors college, because you didn't know about it.
What if you didn't even do that? Is there a requirement of the honors college to do all of that?
It's not a requirement.
So
There were people that genuinely choose not to do it. Right?
So separating that extracurricular stuff
Yes.
to the academic stuff, what do you think that the classes and the necessity to study, the disciplines and the obligations, do you think that they were more intense than if you had taken regular classes?
Regular MDC classes? Like about a 30% more, I guess.
Yeah.
If you want to quantify it. For me, bro, it was just like the same thing. I think high school was harder. Honestly.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because I pushed myself to the limit in high school. I took 9 APs.
Yeah, I think
No.
I would never have done that. But I think in high school, they kind of I think in college they kind of respect the fact that we're adults, and that we have a
You
life,
have more time
and that we have.
college.
But that they don't treat us like if we have more time.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the thing.
true. They don't treat you.
Because the reality of it is that people that go to MDC most likely have a job as well.
Yes.
And have a family. And what I've based on my experience at MDC, the professors are more sympathetic to that fact, and so they try not to overload you. Whereas in high school, You're just kids.
You're in school all day.
You're in school all day. Your only job is to study. You have all this free time when you go home.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you take 9 APs? That's basically the thought process of these high school teachers.
That was my mindset. That's what I did.
Right. And so that's why I'm saying, what I'm trying to get to is then, I feel like, and you can tell me if I'm wrong because you actually had experience in the honors college, is I feel that the intensity at MDC in the MDC honors, like you just said, is more intense than AP classes or honors classes in high school. So if
in my experience, AP
yes,
was more intense than
right.
honors.
So if I would have known that, if it was just 30% more of effort, I probably would have done honors.
But I'm saying it's subjective to my experience. Because
Right.
I already had a study habit in high school. You were skipping senior year of high school.
Right.
You could care less
Right.
about studying.
No, right. But in college, that changed. I began to study more. The only reason that I began to, I'm not going to say it on camera, because I'm pretty sure I can get in trouble for it because I'm still in college. We'll talk about it after. I did study more, but the reason why I was lazier and found lazier ways to be efficient
Mm-hmm.
is because I felt like I wasn't given the respect that I deserved by my professors in the sense of academically.
So you're entitled.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I felt like, not only that I was entitled, but I felt like I wasn't given the bare minimum. Where I would take physical classes and the professors wouldn't even show up.
Okay.
And so I felt like, if you're not going to show up, then I'm not going to show up on my side. I'm going to get the same grade, the same optimal grade that I get, but in a more efficient and easier way. And that's what I did. So if I had known that MDC honors would have given me that same respect with just 30% more effort, I probably would have done it.
Honestly, it was a great time. Like, my honors professor gave us a lot of respect. They looked up for us. They were always there.
Exactly. They're not like high school teachers.
They recommended me for college. I asked them, can you please recommend me for this scholarship, these colleges?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very insightful people, very passionate people.
Right.
Professors that work for the honors college.
So tell me, how was your experience in MDC?
Miami-Dade College as a whole, it's a great institution. I'm very grateful for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a community college, so you have a mix of everything, right? So
Right.
you have a horrible professors that you want to kill, and you make friendships that are lifelong.
Right.
I will say.
The
So it's a
system
mixed
is
bag.
garbage though. The
Right.
MDC system, when it comes to helping students with navigation and faculty and just advising, I found it terrible.
Yeah, because you're a regular student.
That's what I'm also trying to get to.
Yeah.
Is that if I knew that MDC honors came with these other privileges, I probably would have done honors
I had
instead.
personalized advising with my director.
Exactly.
I would just knock on her door and be like, hey, can we talk about this?
Yeah, because it was extremely annoying having to go at 8 in the morning and then wait there for like an hour and a half and then have the kids at the front be like, oh, what do you need? What do you need? Oh, and they would try to judge how important your the thing that you went for was, and based on that, they would try to see if you needed an advisor or not. So they would prolong it and make it annoying. So it wasn't worth it. I would have done honors instead, or probably would have just gone straight to FIU.
Right.
But anyways,
But you kind of don't need an advisor.
you kind of don't, but there's a lot of scenarios in which it helps to have someone else that is more knowledgeable help you with your classes and your pathway and your...
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You're correct. When you're straight out of high school, it's kind of foreign for us.
Yeah.
But once you get it, like by the first semester, I was.
But also the transfer, the whole transferring thing, you need a little bit of assistance.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So that's what I really went for before. So now that you're going to Maryland, do you have any fear that
I get robbed? Yes.
No, not that. I don't really have that fear for you because you're gonna be in college most of the time, and I'm sure that you're smart enough to find somewhere off campus that is a decent area.
And a weapon.
You gotta have a weapon on. Are you gonna carry?
I'll try.
You should. It's
A knife, just at least a knife. I don't think Maryland has very open
No.
weapon laws. I mean, they're very like
Are they more democratic or
strict? They're very
Republican?
democratic.
They're very democratic.
So they have strict gun laws.
Mm. I saw a funny video. You remember the guy on Twitch that's like Tuesday. He's like he looks like he has issues. You know him?
No.
He's so funny. He has like mental issues or whatever. Not mental. I don't know what it is. And he's like,
I had a dude say like he wanted to stab me in the stomach, but it was like going like. I almost thought that was funny because I carry, so it's like.
it's so funny. So it was something around those lines. They don't know that I carry or something.
They don't know that I carry.
Yeah, it's so funny because he's like a little scrawny kid. He's like, doo.
Are you carrying right now?
No, I'm carrying something else. No, I'm
You're
playing.
carrying this.
I carry that.
You carry that.
Yeah, I've learned from the trends to tie it around my.
Like if
my,
it was
my
a sword,
belt.
right?
Yeah, it's like it was a. Anyways, so again, what I was gonna ask was, do you fear, because Johns Hopkins is gonna be more intense than what Miami-Dade was.
Honestly, yes.
It's gonna be more intense.
Honestly, I don't care about my GPA at this point. As long as I pass the class.
Yeah, it's different.
It's
as
different.
long as you it's no longer about your GPA. It's about
I could care less.
being certified in your career.
It's about getting the bachelor's degree. By this point.
Yeah. So
I'll try to. That's what I'm
with
trying
that
to push myself.
with that being said, your workload is gonna be more intense. You're gonna be more occupied. Do you in any way fear growing distant from God?
Yes. However, though, one thing that I made sure I put on the my application essay for Johns Hopkins, which was really particular for the school, which was the other schools I just copied and pasted a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But for Johns Hopkins, they asked about identity and stuff.
Right.
And I wrote about my Catholic faith.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that that maybe I was not going to be as open to be, showcase my faith, or maybe I was going to be. I wrote about the uncertainty of it, and how the fact that Johns Hopkins University has a Catholic community. They have a church close near campus called it's Saints Philip and James Catholic Church, and they have a campus ministry.
Right.
That serves the university there.
Okay.
So I want to be in the community with people that are going through the same thing as I. So we help each other, let's say, or help grow each other.
I like the honesty that you gave there. That you don't know whether you're gonna be vocal about your faith with 100% certainty, because it's a very liberal state.
And school
and
too.
School, and you don't want it to be a hindrance of you. I think for most people, it'd be probably easier to fake a courageous mask and be like, oh, I'm just gonna profess my faith, and I don't care if I get reprimanded.
Right.
I don't care if I lose my tuition. I don't care if I lose my housing, because God's got me. But in reality, like, I think that's more real, what you said, which is I don't know, and I'm gonna see how the campus ministry facilitates that, whether it encourages me or not. And I think that's I think that honesty is necessary, and it's a good thing.
And I was surprised I stood out. They accepted me.
Yeah.
Because the essays are a big part of your application. You could have 4.0, did a lot of stuff.
Who judges the essays? You know.
They're called. In every school they have an office of admission, and they have admission representatives. So an admission representative will see your file.
You should send me your essay.
I'll send you my essay.
And
when I'm there, I will send you.
Oh, you will send it to me. Okay, good.
And when I'm there, once you get admitted and enrolling, you can go to the office of admissions and ask for your file, and you can review your file, and
you can see what they
wrote,
footnotes and everything,
the notes,
the outline,
and the score, because they score it.
Interesting.
So it's like when you apply to a school, it's like you're winning points, right? And the ones that have the higher points, they get in. It's very subjective to the admission.
Right.
And by admission representatives' point of view, because I already have a clear idea of what they want in a student, right? So they score your admissions file, and yeah, once you get enrolled, you have the right to see it. I'm pretty sure some schools they let you keep a copy. Some schools they just let you see it and not keep it.
But Johns Hopkins lets you look at the file.
I'm gonna go find out.
Okay.
Probably I'm gonna ask to take a picture of it. I don't care.
Yeah, you should. They have a copy.
Does that say love is only chemical?
No, love is only eternal.
Oh.
Yes. So.
Some people believe that love is only chemical.
Yeah. What are they called? I forget what they're called. Determinists. I forgot what they're
Materialist?
called. Materialist determinists.
Materialist determinists, yes.
Something like that.
Or it's the other way around.
No,
Doesn't matter.
material determinism.
Material determinism, yes.
Yes. Anyways, what were we talking about? We were talking about the files at Johns Hopkins that you may be able to review your essay. So again...
There was a question in there. I don't know what.
Yes. Do you fear losing okay. Do you fear distancing yourself from God because of your being too occupied?
Yes.
At Johns Hopkins. I remember, I just want to reflect on when we both started MDC and how you were eating your lunch and you were telling me, I don't know if you remember this, we were in the front by the library area where there's all the computers, where there were benches, and you were there, you brought out your lunchbox and you were eating your sandwiches and I was sitting there. And you were telling me about how you're trying to rekindle your relationship with God because you don't want to grow too occupied and grow distant from Him.
Correct.
I remember that. And so it's often when we encounter new scenarios and we begin on a new, I guess we could say, trek in life, that we reflect on those things that we hold fond and we try to rekindle them, and we do a good job in the beginning. We do a good job in the beginning, like with our New Year's resolutions. But then after a while, it starts to dissipate and we see the efforts dwindle.
I don't make New Year's resolutions.
Right. But how did you feel? How did you feel that resolve went on rekindling that relationship and making it stronger through your time at MDC with God?
Just went terribly wrong. Because you're pushed to the extent that your academics are your God. They become your God, and that's if anything other than Him becomes your God, it's
downhill from there.
It's downhill from there, and I don't mind saying it.
No, it's true.
It is true. I am on my path to success. It is true, but I don't see myself I don't see myself as being complete in that sense, because you're truly successful when you're in a good relationship with God.
Right, because at the end of the day, our vocation is to be a saint. Our vocation is to hold our treasures in heaven and not on earth.
Right.
And so it's mostly in the trad side where we find people saying, go to daily mass, have your devotions, and everything else that pushes that aside, push that thing to the side instead. But as my spiritual director says, Father Daniel Howd, that's how you say his last name, right? Daniel Howd? Hood. Daniel Hood. I always think it's Howd because of the way it has an E at the end. But it's Hood. Daniel Hood. He says that virtue resides in the middle. That there's a balance.
Right.
And so
that's Aristotle.
Yes, I think so. But he said it in French.
He said it in French.
He does things so elegantly, bro. It's different.
Oh, he quotes it in French, and then he
translates
translates
it. He's like, "Tu verás," and then I'm like, what does that mean? And then he's like, "Virtue resides in the middle." And I'm just like,
oh, what is that?
It gives the effect of wow,
right.
Anyways, virtue resides in the middle, and so I feel like in our young adult transition right now, we're struggling to find that middle ground, to find that routine of prayer, to find that routine of conversation with God, and to feel satisfied with that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not going to feel satisfied because, as Mother Teresa says, Jesus thirsts for us and we thirst for him.
Correct.
Which means that we're going to be unquenched in this world.
Yes.
But the point is to be at the point where you have balance and the thirst is, I guess you could say, and the thirst is helping you grow in virtue. That is exponential. That increases at a comfortable point. You know what I mean?
You know what exponential means, right?
No. I know that it's like a large increase. It's like, it's like the number squared is like exponent. I understand that. I know what I mean. I can't think of the words that I'm trying to say right now. So I'm just kind of throwing anything out there. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is this.
Yes, that's correct.
What I'm trying to say.
It is hard to be a second language speaker.
That's true. My first language is Spanish. But anyways, we have to find our place in the middle where we have balance between work, our prayer, our family, our hobbies, and that's difficult, especially when we're young men and we're told that we have to be in school so that we can be providers.
Right.
Ultimately,
it's not only that it's not only the balance that what you have already. It's also that sometimes we're young and we strive for more.
Right, we could be too ambitious.
Right? So you have 4 things and you try to keep them in balance, right? But then when you add a 5th or a 6th one, you don't have time, effort, or money.
Gym, girlfriend, diet.
Don't even start with a girlfriend.
Pet.
Well, the pet is extra, bro. Why do you need it?
Yeah, but even the pet, bro, the pet on a bad day throw you off.
Okay. Yeah, like you're...
Do you have a dog? You don't have a dog.
No, we have...
Have you had a dog ever in your life?
Personally, no.
Right.
Because my mom hates
animals, when you have those 4, and you already have a 5, and then your 6th becomes a pet, and you're not in balance, and you have a bad day, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, that 6th thing, like a dog, will throw you off. If he shits in your bedroom, and it's 4 a.m, and you can smell it, and you're tired, it's gonna throw you off. It's gonna throw you off.
Right, and that's where you sacrifice the dog.
They're gonna say that's when you sacrifice your desire to kill him, and you
have it goes down from 6
to 5. Or you partially injure him, so now he can't walk. So now it's a 5.5.
It was an accident.
Now it becomes a 7 because then it's medical bills for the dog. But that's what I'm trying to say is that the number 6 could be anything. Yeah, it can throw you off. So it's really hard to have that balance, and I have high respects for men that have everything in balance. That seem like they have everything in balance. It's
Nobody
insane.
has everything in balance, bro.
But that's
just
the thing.
It's just a mask. They might have the 4 most important things in their life in balance because they have to. If not, they're gonna be living chaos, right? But they have like 2 or 3 that they're trying to figure out as they go, and that's fine.
Okay, but the number 1 thing has to be God.
Oh yeah,
and we can often find ourselves pushing that to the 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th thing,
right?
Which I can relate with, not only with your experience at MDC, but my experience at MDC as well, with working at Shake Shack, with having a girlfriend, with at some point I had 2 part-time jobs and I was in school, and I felt like and I had a girlfriend. I still do have a girlfriend.
You still, which is not a small thing.
Yeah, it's not a small thing at all. It's it takes effort, it takes energy, and should we really push the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th thing to the side if it's causing us to move God away from priority?
I will say yes.
But it's hard to say yes.
It is hard to say yes, and I'm a hypocrite for it. Everybody is.
Here's the thing, though. I've gone to confession, and I've told a priest that I'm a hypocrite for my sins.
Okay.
And for doing something like that.
Which you are.
And he says, don't ever call yourself a hypocrite.
Why?
Because you're not a hypocrite. Because a hypocrite is someone that does these things
Correct. Yes, correct. Yeah, right.
Right.
He's right.
That does these things without repentance. And the fact that we're repenting means that we're washed away from that potential hypocrisy. And so, we're not hypocrites. We're struggling Christians. We're sinners in need of the church, which is our hospital.
Amen.
And it's hard to keep him at that number one priority. And I guess what I'm trying to do, which is what I do for everything, is try to find the solution.
That's a good engineer. You should.
But these things don't really have solutions that are instantaneous. Right. So I'm just trying to create a resolve here, which is, I think that it's a work in progress. We're all works in progress. And a large part of the reason why I really wanted to do this podcast is because you're going to Johns Hopkins extremely soon, in the next 3 months. I probably won't even see you in these 3 months, maybe once or twice. Very limited. And as a brother in Christ, I am, because out of love, I am concerned, as I am with myself, of pushing Christ away from number one priority. And so I just wanted to know where you were at right now so that you can reflect on it, seeing this later, where you're at. Because I think it's important for us to reflect on where we were in the beginning when we started MDC and say to ourselves, what can I do better this time around? Because we're going through another transition. We're going through another phase in life in which we're basically making our New Year's resolutions, which I know you don't like that term, but every time we have that novice feeling and we say we're going to do it better, which is what you did when you started MDC, and you're like, I'm going to rekindle that relationship with God. What do you think you can do better this time around?
Yeah, like, by the way, I think resolutions are great. However, I don't think there have to be every single January 1st.
Your issue is that it's facilitated on that day of the year.
Yeah, it's like, it should
Which
be
is stupid.
daily.
Which is stupid. It
should be hourly. It should be every minute of your life. You have to
Right.
resolute to something. You know?
Right.
That's
That's what men
because
do.
we need. Yeah,
That's what men do.
we need to as men. You know.
But anyways, the question was, what do you feel like you're gonna do this time around? What can you do this time around to promote your relationship with God, unlike last time?
Not joining a frat.
Not joining a frat, but
Yeah,
joining the
'cause-
ministry.
Yeah, choosing the ministry or over the frat, it's priority. Like, I wouldn't join a frat because, like, that's what fraternities in college are, just to gain.
Popularity in the college.
Not only that, it's for you to get girls and have promiscuous sex.
Let me tell you an interesting story.
If you get
about
into
my
a
dad.
frat, you get into a exclusive inventory of girls, if you
Right.
may call it. If you want to objectify them. Yeah.
Let me tell you a story that my dad has about frats.
What?
So when he went to university,
In Atlanta,
he was about to join a fraternity, just for the sake of having a brotherhood or whatever. He was about to join a fraternity, but this isn't like any other fraternity. These are like decent men,
Okay.
okay? But these decent men like to do stupid things because they're men. When you put a bunch of men in a group and you give them a whole fraternity house and they have a bunch of pools, like they have a pool table, they have everything or whatever, they pull pranks too. So one day they pulled a prank or something, and before my dad was about to give his submission form to join the fraternity or something like that, they ended up all getting kicked out of the school. The director of the school said, anyone who's associated with this fraternity is expelled from the school. My dad was hours away from being expelled from the school just because of association with the fraternity.
And what happened?
I don't know what happened. Supposedly
He already graduated,
They
right?
did like a prank. No, he hadn't graduated. This was while he was in school.
Okay.
But hours away or days away, a short-term period before he was initiated into the fraternity,
Oh, before.
explicitly, they were expelled, all expelled. Like in a matter of short term, like he was about to join.
I think fraternities emasculate you.
Why?
Because...
Even decent fraternity, but they don't do it. No promiscuosity.
I mean, yeah, that's different. We're talking college fraternities.
Yeah, but this university is a higher end university. It's not like they're more respectable adults. They're a more respectable group of men.
In your definition of a man, do you think a man should be taking part of these activities that are childish?
In what way? Give me a scenario. What are you thinking?
There was a video. I don't know if you saw a video on Only in Date. It was a UN fraternity. Was like they were like, what were they doing? Were they like slapping people?
A disturbing video sent to Local 10 News by an anonymous source shows what appears to be some type of hazing. You see a student squeezing himself into a trash can. He's surrounded by others who look like they're drinking milk, which they then spit or vomit on him.
It is nasty. Do you think that example, right? Do you think, doesn't that make you
Okay, but the definition
less of a man?
Okay, predominantly that's a fraternity in the U.S. Predominantly. So when you say
Absolutely.
fraternity, that's your definition of fraternity.
Yes.
But fraternity doesn't all have to be like that, right?
We're talking.
We're just talking about predominant fraternities.
Your question was, what do I do to increase my relationship with God? I would say I will not join a college fraternity.
Right, but
Doesn't matter if I'm in Johns Hopkins. Doesn't matter if I'm in Harvard.
Right, but the thing is, you didn't do that this time around either. In MDC.
Because there's no
fraternity, right? So what's something that you're going to do this time around that's different to promote your relationship with God?
To promote,
Mm-hmm.
to promote,
To promote your
promote improvement.
Yes. Because you say that you've lacked.
I will
in
say
your experience at MDC with
I will
relationship
say
with God.
now another thing then, taking care of myself physically. I will say. And how does that tie? Because I don't think self-esteem is kind of like psychologically accurate. Pretty sure, like it's very. I don't think there's scientific proof to measure it, you know, which is because it's very subjective to the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is unvalid scientifically.
Mm-hmm.
Invalid.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say that I don't love myself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't have that self-love that people... Healthy self-love, not pride.
Right.
Which we
It's
need.
just confidence in yourself.
Which we need because the Lord says... what does the Lord say? Love your neighbor as yourself, right?
Right.
And it's funny because like I see on Instagram, love your neighbor as yourself. That means I have to love myself.
Yeah. I was thinking about the same thing.
So loving yourself it comes first.
Priority over.
It's priority over loving your neighbor.
I've heard that too.
But no, it's the two are the same thing.
I think that's good. That's good.
So I have to take care of my whole person, not only spiritually but bodily, because
With the
body
perspective of it being a temple.
exactly
Yeah.
because we're both body and soul.
Yes, and this body, like a lot of people say, it's not your own. You're renting it for now. Basically, that's what people say now.
It's not yours.
So that's your resolve then with what you feel like you're gonna do.
Let's see, I don't have plans, and that sucks because I should have plans. But in the end of the day, I first have to adjust to the place, have to adjust to the people, go seek help because I'm gonna go to campus ministry to seek help.
Yes.
You know, because
And
we need each other as Christians.
I think that putting yourself around people that have the same interest and the same
And
virtuous interest
and the
is
same struggle.
Extremely, yes, and the same struggle, the same reality that comes with being a Christian,
Right.
especially Catholic,
Yes.
is extremely important. So, I think putting yourself in that circle and taking care of yourself is a great resolution.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the next thing I really was interested in is you're going back to Austria. How was your time in Austria when you first went? Because you first went on a school trip to MDC.
Yes.
How
I'm
was
going
that?
back to Germany.
Because I didn't get all the details
Austria.
about it. So tell me the details about Austria.
So we went there for a academic seminar
Mm-hmm.
that pushed globalization and ways of solving global issues.
push globalization,
Yes.
which is a problem, right?
I don't know, man.
Because that sounds socialist.
Maybe it's a problem. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a reality.
But isn't the desire to push globalization a desire to create like a utopia?
Not necessarily. These people have a very utopian conception of what they want. That's true. But so do we, in a sense.
Well, I mean, we Catholics are grounded in the fact that that utopia already exists, and that's heaven. But it cannot be found in this earth. The issue with these secularists, I guess Europeans in Austria, is that
should we bring heaven to earth?
It's not. That's the wrong question, though. Should we bring heaven to earth is the wrong question. The question is, can we as human beings create heaven on earth? And that's not possible, because God, through the Garden of Eden, tied heaven and earth together in the beginning, and we destroyed that.
Right.
It's not that we created it and we can destroy it. It's that we were given that gift and we threw that gift away, and it's a gift that is. It's not one that can just be brought back like that. It's not one that we can replicate either. And so I think that's where the fault comes in. Because when people have these socialist ideas about creating world peace and...
World peace is not a socialist idea.
And solving world hunger.
Oh, yeah.
Well, world peace and solving world hunger, those two issues, the desire to solve them, what the Bible tells us, it's virtually impossible.
You should have the desire. It doesn't mean
you should have the desire, right? But to try to promote peace in the globalist sense is never a possibility.
You should have the strive to push peace in a specific scenarios. Like if there's a conflict between two nations or more, you should strive for the peace.
Right. And that's the reason why I call it a socialist idea. World peace, a socialist idea, because there's never going to be world peace. Because the desire to bring world peace is to bring heaven on earth, when that's not a possibility. Only God can do that.
Right.
Only God can command that. But to push for peace is not the same thing as to try to forcefully bring about, through the use of globalization, world peace.
Right.
That's why I call it a socialist idea. Okay,
fair enough. But look, they have very macro perspective of issues, and that's I think the problem. I don't believe much in macro issues. I believe in the issues that are specific in a specific context.
That have a larger consequence.
That have a larger consequence for specific people.
For a larger group of people as well.
Like American problems.
Right.
Mexican issues.
Right.
Issues in Europe, which they will tell you, oh, they're interconnected now. That's correct. Everything is interconnected in a sense. Everything has an effect, cause and effect, but you have to set your priorities too.
Right.
Their priorities is, we have to help the poor at expense of the rich.
Right.
That is their socialist agenda. The rich countries have to provide. They're morally bound to provide to the poor countries.
Okay, let's get into socialists a little bit later. It's gonna come soon. Socialism and
so that's basically what I learned in Austria. I'm a certified communist now.
But what was your experience in the historical locations in Austria?
It was great. My first time in Europe.
Where did you go in Austria? What did you see?
Okay, we landed in Munich, Germany. We took a bus to Salzburg, Austria, which is in the border, right in the Austrian Alps. It's a very historically Catholic town. They had like an archduke, which was both a prince and an archbishop.
Interesting.
Yes, so he held a lot of power in the city.
That's no longer a thing anymore, right?
No, that was. For hundreds of years. I was there for how long? 7 days, almost 8. In the city, it was mostly. I was in a castle. They call it the Schloss.
Oh, you resided in a castle? That's
In a
where you were
castle.
at? That's where you're stationed?
Okay, so historically it's a castle, but now it's a hotel. So they use.
Does it look like a castle inside?
It looks like a castle.
Cool.
Inside. It has like paintings.
So you basically went to Disney World.
No, but like real. I went to
A
real Disney.
castle, yeah. Right.
So we spent our time. It was a yeah. Okay, so our meetings were in the castle, and we were hosted at a dorms. There was a dorms next to the castle where we slept.
Right. Interesting. Oh, cool. For the colleges, right?
For the college.
Mm-hmm. Where else did you go?
I spent most of my time in Salzburg. On the halfway on the trip, I went back to Germany, to Dachau, which is north of Munich. Dachau was the first concentration camp built by the Nazi regime. It was a very interesting visit.
Tell me about it.
It was very interesting because I've always been passionate about World War II, specifically World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Because when my dad would like tell me all these things about it, he would have like history books to me. He would hand it to me. I don't know how. I didn't know how to read much jargon, right? Or like I didn't know how to read a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew how to read by that point, but I didn't know how to read a book. So I would guide myself through the pictures.
Right.
So I would like, just, and then as I learned how to read, I would just read the books on history.
What was the place called again?
Dachau. Dachau concentration camp. It's just north of Munich.
So you kind of recognize it a little bit through what history you learned.
I already knew about Dachau.
You already know how it looked like and everything.
I didn't know how it looked like, but I knew about it.
Right.
So it was the first.
What did you see?
I saw. The housing of the prisoners was torn down already. There was a couple of them that they left for, just to like show how it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of them were gone.
What did you feel like when you entered Dachau?
Let me see. I want to know exactly the German. So the National Socialists started, which is the Nazis, the National Socialists, put on the camp Arbeit macht frei. Arbeit macht frei means work makes one free. Right? That's what they believe. They believe that they were purging these political prisoners, because Dachau was mostly a political prisoners camp.
Right.
They were purging them of they're re-educating them by being
right. So knowing all of that, how did you feel? Like, what was the sensation that you felt when you entered Dachau?
You're telling me as if I was so mystic, bro.
No, not a mystic, but
it was very.
But clear. Okay,
it was.
What vibe did you get to make it even?
It was
more?
very windy.
But did they give you did you feel eerie? Did you feel like someone was watching you? Did you feel a sense of sadness? Did you feel excited because you were finally visiting a historical place that you were very passionate about, learning about?
That's the thing.
What did you feel?
There's some times where you have all those emotions, and you cannot pick and choose which one you felt at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling all that.
Mm-hmm.
I was mostly in my mind. Like I know I was not in Disneyland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was aware, like
it was real.
It was real. It looked very. It was very gray.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Again, it was not Disneyland at all. It was a gray place. It had no color. There was a bunch of. It's a very historical site, and it's very recent.
Right.
Like it's not 100. It's not 200 or 300 years old. It's a very recent. It's less than 100 years old.
For real?
Yeah.
No
bro.
way.
Okay, it was built in 1933.
Sorry about that. Right. It was built in 1933, and
And what year are we?
It's like when you're a patient in the hospital. What year is it? What year is it? When's your birthday?
When's your birthday? You wake up from the coma.
The coma. The coma.
The coma.
The coma.
The coma. La cama.
La cama. I woke up from la cama.
From la
Very
cama.
tired today.
No, you wake up from a coma and you ask what year is it?
It was a death camp, right?
No,
It was a labor camp.
labor camp.
So people didn't die there. There people probably died from exhaustion. But I'm talking about like when they used to eradicate.
Okay,
diseases in there.
that's not a. Yeah, like yeah.
Did it
yes.
have? Okay, look. I
Yes.
don't know anything.
That's why. That's what I'm
like
telling
a
you.
child. Were there gas chambers?
Niño, no.
Were there torture sites?
Yes.
There were torture sites. Were there?
They were tortured right there. There's no need for a torture site.
No, but I don't mean torture through labor. I mean like physical injury.
Oh yeah, probably they will send you like they will find a way, bro. It was not a big like the camp itself was situated in the SS. Do you know what the SS was? The SS was a paramilitary unit, which means that it was not the army, it was not the police, it was a mix of both. The SS was paramilitary organization that try to find the enemies of the state.
Okay.
Right?
Well, what was the camp for?
Okay.
For labor.
Let me
right?
finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Just let me finish.
Okay.
It was in an SS training camp. The camp
Okay.
was inside the training camp of the SS.
Okay, I'm trying to visualize it.
Right. So you have the camp. It's inside the training camp of the SS.
Okay.
Right. So that camp was like the place where you go play football for these officers. They will train their tortures in the camp. They will train how to torture people in the camp. Because this is one of dozens and dozens of camps around, not only in Germany but in Poland and around Austria too, and Czechoslovakia.
So it's predominantly a training ground.
It was a training ground for the SS.
And the prisoners were experiments, basically.
Yes, they did
For
not only
training.
for training and also for medical reasons, because the Nazis were like freaks.
But they would mostly do labor there, right?
Yes,
The prisoners.
they will do labor, correct. And it's not a big thing. It's not a small thing. I'm sorry. It's not a small thing. People will die all the time or through labor.
What's the SS?
I just told you what it is.
What does it stand for?
My German is not that good yet, but
I understand what you said, that it's a training ground. It's a mix.
it
of
stands
two
for
things.
Schutzstaffel.
What does that mean?
I don't know what it means. It was a major paramilitary organization under Adolf Hitler. It's a paramilitary organization.
Okay.
You know, okay, I have to explain you again what paramilitary means.
No, I understand.
It's not military, it's not police.
I understand. It's a mixture of both.
It's a mixture of both.
Yes.
And they were targeting the enemies of the state.
Right. The Jewish prisoners.
Not only that.
But they're trained for war as well. To train for the military.
No.
The officers. Yeah, so you said the paramilitary, right? There's military trainees and there's also police trainees.
No. No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean, bro.
What do you mean?
Yes. Just listen. Paramilitary means that it's an organization that has military capabilities. They have guns like the military does.
Okay.
But they have powers like the police. So these people can go into your house at any time and look for enemies of the state.
So they have military technology, but they're trained policemen.
Exactly.
Okay.
You got it, bro. You got it. I'm so happy.
So happy.
So happy, bro. That's the SS. They're
Okay.
a paramilitary. And all like dictatorships have that. Paramilitary, which is not the police, which is not the military. So that's where they're trained.
So they're basically just police trained like military with military
Yes, sir.
technology.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
But their role is to be policemen.
Not
Or
really.
to be like a little bit above policemen.
The police doesn't get into your house and tracks enemies of the state.
Right, but the Germans they would label them as policemen.
No, they will label them as SS.
SS, which is a specific set group.
Yes, they're completely different.
And their job is to just go into houses and extract
Enemies of the state, which
are the Jews.
mostly Jews.
But also
Mostly
people, but
Jews.
also people that let me see if I'm right. Might be the only piece of history that I might know right. But also people that are aiding the Jews, housing the Jews.
This is tricky because, yes, most of the time, but if you were aiding the Jews and you gave them away, they might as well forgive your family.
No way.
Yeah. So it was an incentive for you to tell, oh, that family over there is hiding Jews.
Were they willing to kill pure Germans if they were against the German military and their propaganda?
At the beginning, no.
But
They
then later
will
on
send them to Dachau.
Oh, for real? Wow.
Okay, you didn't let me finish what Dachau was. Dachau was a prisoner camp for mostly political dissenters.
Oh.
Yes.
So you saw a history of the camp in Dachau. That's crazy. Because you basically saw a place a historic place.
Yeah, where thousands of people died. Mm-hmm. And it's not like they were like cooked like in the other places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Why are we laughing?
I don't know.
It's
dark humor.
Dark
Hey,
humor.
let's move on from that topic. I don't want to
Okay.
destroyed on Twitch. So let's talk about like socialism and communism is any better.
No. Why do you have those topics, bro?
No, because you've been studying a lot of a specific character in history. Your boy.
My boy, yeah.
Your boy.
My
No,
boy.
but anyways.
My boy Jesus Christ.
Let's just wrap up that area part then.
Because you don't have much.
No, I don't have much
technology.
No, I don't have much storage, which sucks.
Right.
But anyways. What's something important that you want to take to Maryland with you from what you've learned in Miami? Because I do have to say, your willingness to strive to be more social in college, you succeeded at that.
Right.
Like, greatly, I think. Because you were more antisocial in high school. You
Yes.
only had your little group, and that was it. In college, where I would say it's even harder to make friends, because everyone already has their grupito from high school.
Correct.
You did really well.
Thank you.
So I know you're going to take that to Maryland.
I hope so.
And you've matured a lot. What's
Hope
something
so, too.
what's something that you value, that you've also learned, that you've acquired as a characteristic that you think is going to prove fruitful in Maryland?
I know how to speak now. But literally, like I did not know how to speak before. Like I don't know how to. It's not only the English or anything, but also in Spanish.
Does that come from confidence? You grew more confident in your.
Confident in what I have to say, and also like my family is not really. My mom is not. She has very like you could tell that she struggles with forming words and stuff. Like I think that's a bad habit that I don't want to get.
You mean communication?
Communication wise, like truly, like I'm being serious.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean the wrong word? Like she forgets the words, or like she just
forgets
struggles,
the word.
She struggles to be able to communicate her side.
She forgets the words. She struggles to communicate simple like, ideas. She stutters a little bit. You know what I mean? And I don't take that lightly because it's communicating. I feel like it's extremely important because it's the first thing that people say about you is how you look, and the second thing is how you talk.
Very true. I think it's Kevin Hart that says that your ability to connect with people is more valuable than the money you make.
Absolutely.
It's
And
the connections that bring more opportunity than anything.
Yeah, and I say the communication in general because that's the tool through which you socialize and you make connections.
And you express yourself.
And you express
and your
yourself
ideas,
and your ideas.
And you make things happen.
And you become sometimes vulnerable with people.
Yes.
Even though you don't intend to that sometimes. But yeah.
What's a religious habit that you hope to gain, to acquire?
More Bible reading.
More Bible reading?
Yeah. Because I remember I did a 1 year New Year's resolution of reading the Bible for a year.
How
with
terrible of you.
Mike Smith.
Oh,
Schmitz.
oh, you did the whole Bible in a year?
No, I did 14 days.
So like a 14-day trial type of thing?
Yes.
14 days. Damn.
Damn, bro.
Like,
bro, you're gonna be like,
that.
have you seen that video of the dude like,
Oh. Whoa. He gives like terrible advice.
yeah.
Terrible advice.
But he
Should I get
nailed
married? He's like, should I get married? No, jerk off for the rest of your life. Don't get married. Jerk off for the rest of your life. Lotion's your best friend.
Oh my gosh. And he's like 60, right?
Yeah.
And he has like a huge ass mole here.
Yeah.
Which I respect.
I would hate to be that guy.
You do have a mole.
Yeah. Lunar.
Un lunar.
Lunar sounds better than...
So people call it beauty marks.
Sorry, calls it a beating mark.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wish I had that. But anyway.
Yeah, people with beauty marks are pretty.
I don't know. I've never liked them. Probably because it's an insecurity of mine. Well,
Yeah,
it was.
nobody's-
Now I don't really care.
Your
Now I'm a
insecurity
man, I
should
don't
be your
care.
nose.
Your insecurity should be your ears.
Why? Are they big?
Yeah.
Actually,
They're huge, bro. I saw the pictures you showed me yesterday. They're the only things that haven't grown or shrunk. They've stayed big.
Actually, they're smaller now compared to my head size.
Yes.
Right? Because
you
when I was a kid, bro, it was...
Yeah, because you were more squared faced.
Right.
And now you've eaten Shake Shack for a year straight, so now you're...
Chubby? Bro, shut up, bro. It's not that. It's just my lack of exercise. That's why I have to do more exercise.
I have a feeling... I'm just going to be real with you. I have a feeling that you're going to miss Miami more than you think you are.
I am going to miss Miami. I'm not saying I won't. I'm not saying I will not miss because I've lived here for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I just don't see myself, how do I explain? I see myself more exploring than coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, I guess...
And you shouldn't, because Miami is a place everyone should want to leave.
Amen, brother.
Preach, preacher.
Preach that. Preach that to the choir. Amen. What else do they say? I don't know. But yeah, I know Miami, like...
No.
Respect.
No.
I've met great people in Miami.
Yeah. I am gonna miss the fact that you're gonna be less accessible.
I'm accessible through a phone call, yeah.
Yeah, but it's never the same.
Actually, most of our conversations are through phone call.
Not recently.
Not recently because
I think in the past 6 months.
We've strived to make it more touching.
We've tried to make this marriage work. No, bro. That's so gay. For context, we've been trying to hang out more before you leave to Maryland.
Yeah.
But with any good male relationship.
With
any good... Okay, I'm going to use friendship because you're homo and that bothers you. With any good male friendship, the fruits of it are shown, most of all, when they go and build their own life.
Absolutely, bro.
I'm so glad I just remembered this topic. Being as smart as you are and knowledgeable about the Catholic faith and some large points of theology and apologetics, why have you never considered finding a career in that, or finding a hobby in that?
A hobby, probably it is a hobby for me. I like learning. Learning is a hobby for me. So
I'm speaking strictly in the sense of apologetics, actually, and educating others about the faith.
Right, because I hated being a teacher. I don't like to teach.
You don't like to teach?
I don't like to teach.
Interesting. What part of teaching do you not like? The talking, the patience, the interaction with the simplifying of complex ideas. What is it?
Why I don't like to teach? That's a good question.
Because you teach me all the time.
Because I'm afraid of being wrong.
I don't feel...
And it's funny because I tutor math for like...
Yes.
For 4 months.
But I don't feel like you should feel that way because no one's asking you to be the Pope.
Yeah, but it's... people having very large... Like, teachers are very... They become role models.
Yes. And you don't find yourself as a viable role model.
As of now, we're talking 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll tell you different story in 6 years. But as of now,
I'm satisfied with that response.
yeah.
I think it's a very humble response. But I do think there's a lot more potential in you that you'll probably see in the years to come.
Yes, and I'd rather use that potential for other stuff. For my engineering career.
For now.
That's what I'm striving now.
Right. But I think that, having God as priority number one,
Mm-hmm.
I know you've never backed down to be charitable and teach the other side.
I already did my part.
Yeah.
I evangelized you the most.
Yes.
I already did my part. I rather do it.
You know what? As prideful as that sounds, you're right. You're right. Because I feel like I'm well equipped to learn on my own. Not saying, for the people listening, or for future selves of ours, that I would have been lost without you, or that I'm like a sheep, or anything like that. Because I will have to say that this would have never happened, you teaching me so many things, which is what I told your mother before, if I never went out of my way to push you to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the reason why I think this friendship worked. Because I kind of forced you into this friendship. Yeah. You know this. I kind of forced you into this friendship. True. Which is kind of funny because most friendships happen naturally.
Yeah, this is not happening.
This has never happened to you. I think.
It has happened to me.
It has happened to you?
Yeah, but not in the...
Not in the long term.
Not in the godly sense.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Yeah. But I will say you have done a large part. You have played a huge piece in my life when I had a lot of questions. And as entitled as I am to feel like you should have every answer to my questions, as I've told you many times before, I learn through discussion. And so you facilitated my learning in that way. Even when you didn't have answers. But you mostly always had answers. Because you're always willing to learn about church history and about the faith. So that's why I'm so astounded with the fact that you haven't... I guess it might just be the fact that I'm more of a dreamer than you are. When it comes to me striving to get into the field of apologetics and stuff like that. Because you're well equipped to do so.
That's fine, bro. Maybe in Maryland, I'll find another ostrich that will do the same thing. But I'd rather do it in the micro level, I'd rather do it one by one.
Yeah.
I think that's more efficient.
No, yeah, I mean, I have to humble myself in the sense that I'm willing for my impact to just be one individual. I'm willing to do that. Yeah, it's just And
I appreciate your words. It means a lot.
Yeah, man. It's true. I mean everything I say, for real. And I want you to know, not to get sentimental on camera or anything, but I think there's a lot more to you than you see yourself when it comes to the potential you have of being a role model to others. I do mean that. Because we're all broken, bro. We're all broken. You know that through me. Yeah. We're all broken. And I think my confidence in trying to push to be a role model for others and to get into the field of apologetics and to be a representation of Christ in the sense of trying to be more Christ-like, it's because I know it's not works of my own. I know it's works of God. And so, you know, it's not about me. Even though I come here and I dress myself up and I try to look presentable, it's not about me at the end of the day. So, yeah, God did.
God did.
God did. So, anyways, I think we can wrap this up.
Yes, sir.
I think it was a very good podcast.
What's my name again?
Hey, Hor. Hey, Hor.
Correct.
Jorge. Jorge Hurtado. God did.
God did. Amen,
All right,
brother. Hallelujah.
Appreciate you. See you when you come back with a girlfriend, hopefully.
Not a wife, bro.
A wife.
I'll come back in 10 years. Time.
Yeah, but you'll be coming.
I'll be
every
coming.
now and then. You'll be coming.
I'll be coming. You'll be coming, bro.